What's up, guys? Hope you're having a good day. It's raining outside, so hopefully that doesn't affect the sound or the quality of the video at all. If it does, I apologize in advance. So I saw yesterday that Unorthodox, the guy who had that, not a hit, but it got quite a few views, underwhelming on YouTube, probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I think the reason for that was because of like how little he looked and like how young he was. I think he was like 12 years old at the time. So it just kind of got some, it was almost like the Slim Jesus thing. Like it just kind of like blew up on the internet for like a few weeks. He dropped a new EP called Unorthodox. And I kind of want to give like a little small review on it, my little tiny reaction on it, and just kind of talk about Maddox a little bit. So when Underwhelming came out and it was blowing up on social media and on YouTube 3-4 years ago, I listened to it and I actually thought it was good for what it was. I thought the video was kind of funny, with the little fidget spinners and all that. I think I kind of was like, wow, when I was 12 years old, I would have loved to make a rap song like this and to be in a video like this. And then I also saw that he had other stuff that he had put out before that also had they all got at least a couple million views each. And I was like, wow, I could kind of see myself in this kid, like a little white kid from the suburbs or whatever that's making a rap song. And the beats were good. And I thought the music was good for what it was. I mean, obviously, to a grown man or to a grown woman, it's not really relatable at all. But I mean, I thought it was fun and cool. And, I thought it was interesting that he was working with the big producer team, working on Dying, who have worked with Drake and a bunch of big people. I just thought the whole thing was kind of cool. You know what I mean? Wow, this 12-year-old's getting in a studio and making this music. And it's, if I was 12 years old at the time, I'd be like, wow, this is really cool. I want to do this too, And even when I was 12, I liked rap. And I used to rap for fun when I was in high school and stuff. And, I never got to make a professional recording. So I just thought the whole thing was really awesome. And then he had that one song that he did with XXX that was kind of a hit. So, I mean, the kid's been around now for a while. And I listened to Unorthodox. And the title's pretty fitting because it really is an unorthodox release. Sounds completely different than anything he's put out before. Which makes a lot of sense because when you're 12 years old, and even when you're 16, he's 16 years old now, you don't know yourself whatsoever. And if you don't know yourself, it's hard to make a style of music that you'll stick with, because music is usually a reflection of who you are as a person. So when you're 12 years old, even 16 years old in a lot of cases, not for everybody, some 16-year-olds are very mature, but a lot of 16-year-olds are very agreeable. So if someone around him saying, hey, make music like this, he's probably going to make music like that, for the most part. So the style completely changed. What it kind of sounded like to me was he heard Whole Lotta Red by Playboi Carti and kind of tried to emulate that. It doesn't sound bad, though. It doesn't sound bad for a 16, and his voice got a lot deeper, too. So to me, I thought it was okay. The beats were hard-hitting beats. In my opinion, the first 3 tracks were the best. And the last 2, I didn't really care for. There's a lot of beat switches in there, which I'm not a big fan of beat switches. When a song starts with one beat, I like it to stay that way throughout the entire song. That's just my personal preference. Some people like when the beat switches in the middle of a song. I've never been a big fan of that. I like it to just be one song, and then if you want to do a different beat, do a whole different song. So there was one song on there. I can't remember the name of it, but it was the 4th track, and it had a bunch of beat switches, it seemed like. And I was just not really feeling this. But it's a very aggressive EP, a lot of a little bit of yelping and a lot of kind of not screaming rap, but very abrasive. It's a very abrasive EP, but it's an interesting direction, and let's just be 100% honest. Maddox has definitely fallen off already. I mean, again, like I said in the Smoke Perp video I just did, you can't really fall off if you've never hit the top. And it's the same with Maddox. He was never at the top. He's never had a Billboard Hot 100 hit. He's never had an album in the top 200. Probably the biggest song that he's known for, besides Underwhelming, is that song with XXX. But I think he could potentially still go upwards instead of downwards once he finds his footing in the industry and once he finds his voice. And that may not happen for a while. I think he's going to need some help. And I think he got dropped because he was on Motown Universal for his debut album / mixtape, which was self-titled Maddox. And that was a weird album. I wasn't a big fan of it. But again, at that time when he put that out, he was like 14 or 15 years old. You're very susceptible to being agreeable. And if someone says you should do it like this, and you're just going to do it. Until you find yourself as an artist, you know, you're going to be all over the place trying to find your sound. And I think he's at that place now. But I do think that the EP, even though it's different, it's not my favorite. I thought it was okay. Even though it was different, I think it's a step in the right direction because he's finding himself. And like I said, the first 3 beats were insane. I mean, they're just like not something you hear on most albums. And I think that's why he called it Unorthodox, because his flows were different and stuff like that. So we'll see where he goes from here. His career is definitely not in a good spot right now. There's no question about that. But he's still young. He's 16. We'll see where he's at in 5 years when he's 21. At that point, we'll really know. He could completely lose interest in rap and just stop rapping. Because again, what you like when you're 25 or 21 is sometimes and very often a lot different than when you're 14, 15, 16 years old. And he just turned 16. I mean, I used to love sports. I don't give a fuck about sports now. I didn't watch the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? I don't watch I used to play basketball, and I was a huge fan of Michael Jordan, and I used to watch the Bulls all the time, and Dirk Nowitzki and all those people. I don't remember the last time I watched an NBA game. It's been close to a decade probably. So our interests change a lot. He may end up, who knows what he could be doing. I mean, we don't know if he's going to even be rapping in 5 years. But if he sticks with the craft and he's truly interested in it, we'll have to see where he's at in 5 years if he develops his craft more and really finds his footing and finds his sound. Because right now he's doing a lot of experimental stuff, and it's interesting. So the EP was decent, guys. I do recommend checking it out if you're into unorthodox styles of music. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't done that yet. Give me a like and let me know if you've heard any of Maddox's stuff, what you think about it in the comments. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.